They say buying a home is supposed to be an exciting journey. Yeah. Well, no one actually tells you that the home buying process takes at least 6 months to a year from start to finish. Sure, you can save days, weeks, months off of that timeline by knowing exactly where to start, like getting a pre-approval, even having a strategy to your home hunting process, so you can prevent any delays that may actually kill your offer. Or else you'll just end up like this statistic here,
Stating how many homes fall out of contract.
it amazes me when I speak to a lot of you who are looking to purchase a home, how many of you have not even thought about it or set an ideal time frame of when you want to close on your home, or better yet, receive those keys for your new home. Let's not forget, you don't do these small little tasks, you literally run the risk of compromising. And this is one of the largest purchases you're going to probably participate in your lifetime. So, in my opinion, this is not the time to be playing with anything like this. And actually, while we're talking about, this home buying journey, let me know in the comments below, where are you currently in your home buying journey? Because if you're choosing not to prepare yourself, I personally don't know how to help you. I'm only gonna tell you, just expect a little bit of turmoil and a little bit of pain during your journey. But for those who want to save a little bit of time, save themselves a little bit of stress, and possibly even thousands of dollars, let's start with talking about preparing yourself financially, which I would say minimum, expect this process to take at least 3 months. And this is going to consist of checking your credit score. Of course, you can go check out those free resources, but remember, not all the time do they show the real picture. So my recommendation would be to go to annualcreditreport.com to really look at what's going on with your credit. Then you're going to want to save for a down payment and closing costs. Sure, if you're using one of those products that don't require you to put anything down, then this doesn't really apply to you. But let's just say you don't have access to those things, then you're going to want to have at least 3.5% of the purchase price. And that is just for your down payment. Because then you also have on the other end your closing costs, which I like to say add an additional 2 to 5% of the purchase price. And that will be just for your closing costs. So there's ways to minimize and reduce those amounts, but we're not going to talk about that in today's video, because now I want you to go find a budget sheet if you don't already have one and calculate your budget to know what are you comfortably and willing to afford for your monthly mortgage. Do me a favor. Do not skip this step and do not leave it up to the lender to determine this number for you, or else you may end up like one of these other stories that you see hovering online somewhere where people are literally house rich but cash poor.
Luxury lifestyle. I went to South Korea, bought a 2000 plane ticket, didn't even blink twice. I went shopping, luxury goods, all that. Was traveling, was just, oh, I was living it up. I felt rich. I had no bills. And I had a full-time 9 to 5 job. I was working as a nurse. Okay. I was killing it. I bought my own house. That first mortgage payment came in and I was like, oh, this is a situation. But at first you think you can handle it, right? Like, what's a couple thou? What's a couple thou? I got it. But then the pipes in my 80-year-old home broke immediately as soon as I bought the house. Wiped out my savings. Then another pipe in a different area of the house broke. Okay, I'm struggling. Okay, I need help. Then my neighbor's pipe, it was a twin house, her pipe broke. And she didn't believe that her pipe broke, but her pipe broke on my side of the house. So all of that water that was coming down was spraying into my home. And then my water heater broke. When I tell y'all, I went from living in the lap of luxury to destitute immediately. Now, don't get me to fooling y'all, because it was worth it in the long run, because that house is now worth like 2 times what it was worth then. So
once you've done that, now I want you to go and get that pre-approval. I want you to go speak to that lender and just share with them, of course, what's going on in your scenario, because now without that pre-approval is your golden ticket to essentially go shopping. And if you don't have a pre-approval, this is my personal opinion. If you don't have a pre-approval, just don't think about making an offer, because you'll just be wasting your time at that point. And this is for the people that are a little bit further along the lines where they're like, I'm not ready to go speak to a lender. Start those conversations anyways. You don't necessarily have to give all the documentation or the paperwork required, but share some of that information so that you can have an idea of maybe what your estimated closing costs would be, maybe what your monthly mortgage payment will be, right? You can have these conversations started now so that you can now know, walking into the scenario, what's expected and how to prepare for it. And now you see why I say 3 months in that financial prep, because it is a lot of backhand work that you have to do. But it is all worth it in the end, especially if you want to have a positive home ownership journey and experience. But moving on to the next one, the house hunting. This is where I see a lot of people spend a lot of their time just trying to find the perfect home. But if you don't want to be that individual to tour 50 plus homes just to be overwhelmed, well, here are some things that I would recommend doing, right? Setting up a T chart. What I mean by that, putting up a T chart and putting your needs and your wants on one side. Spend as much time as you need on this. Speak to whoever it is you need to speak to. But when it's all said and done, I want you to circle the top 3 things on both sides. Those are going to be your non-negotiables. Once you're done doing that, go ahead and go freely look on any website, any online app, whatever it is that you must do. Speaking of online apps, I'm curious to know, what apps are you guys using? Let me know in the comments below what apps you guys are using in the comments to do your research on. But anywho, you're going to want to share that list with whoever it is that you decide to work with. And speaking on that, some of you guys may not like what I'm going to say now, but there is truth to it. There's value in there, which is working with a real estate agent that is local to that market. And the reason why I say this is because every single area, zip code, town, city, they all operate differently when it comes to real estate. So you're going to want the expertise, the knowledge, the advice, the guidance of someone who's local and specializes in that area specifically to help you and assist you. And if you don't have someone that you can trust, I mean, just click the link in the description and I can connect you to someone. Because once you get connected to someone, you have all these things that we've talked about and all of these things already established. You're ready to make an offer. And if you're at this stage where you're making offers, that means you are at least 5 months into your journey of trying to buy a home. But eventually, your offer is going to get accepted. The finish line is going to be extremely close. You're probably looking at minimum 30 days out, but I don't want you to relax just yet, because there are some things that can still dismantle or even delay the entire process. Speaking of home inspections, home appraisals, and even final walkthroughs. So stay on top of your P's and Q's to make sure that you can get to the closing phase, which is the next one, which typically is like a day or a couple of hours, depending on the state you're operating in. But there you're going to review your closing docs, you're going to sign paperwork, a ton of paperwork, and you're going to pay your closing costs, of course. And this is why I say knowing the state that you're operating in is important, because depending on when you receive your keys can make a difference for you. Here in North Carolina, you don't get your keys immediately. In fact, you probably get your keys couple of hours later after the attorney has recorded. So that's why I say having someone locally to walk you through these steps is really, really critical, and for your understanding of what exactly does happen in each and every single stage. Overall, though, I will say, if you can be really flexible with your expectations and your strategy, you don't have to be so much flexible with your timeline. You can have a strict timeline, but just understand that market conditions may change. And if that is the case, you're going to want to be flexible there and just be able to adapt to what's going on within that specific area, especially if it's a competitive area. As I mentioned earlier, if you don't have a trusted real estate partner that can even probably help you save some time with your home search process, I'm connected to a ton of real estate agents across the country. And if you want to be connected to one of my resources, just make sure to click the link in the description. Leave all the information so that I could personally reach out to you and get you connected to someone. Otherwise, I just simply won't be able to help. Buying a home is supposed to be an incredible milestone. So do yourself a favor. Set that timeline in place and prepare yourself so you know what to tackle next. And if you do find something challenging while you're going through it, or maybe you've gone through it in the past, let me know in the comments below so everyone knows exactly what to look out for and how to prepare themselves. But just as much as I enjoy making these videos for you guys, my name is Roney Polynice, and if there's anything I could do to help you out, just simply reach out.